So as we've been saying, Corey Lewandowski may not face any criminal charges, but Michelle Fields is potentially going to launch a civil suit against both him and against Donald Trump as well, according to some of these early reports. We're going to look at this from two different angles this morning. Joining me now, Judge Andrew Napolitano, Fox News senior judicial analyst, and then we'll go to Jonah Goldberg, senior editor of the National Review and a Fox News contributor. Let's start with the legal aspects of this, Judge. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
You didn't think there was any criminal case here to begin with?
No. This is not the place for the for law enforcement or the criminal justice system. Not every unconsented to touching is a crime. You're in a crowd, somebody wants to get past you. It's the type of thing that you expect in that environment. Look, I don't know if she had any permanent injury. We saw a bruise. That's probably not sufficient for a civil lawsuit, but I'm happy that the prosecutor dropped this. Taking the politics out, the prosecutor's a Hillary Clinton supporter, Michelle Fields is a journalist, Donald Trump's running for president, Corey Lewandowski works for Donald Trump. Just looking at it legally, it's not a criminal case.
Because that is all that matters, whether or not the reach out and pull back constituted any sort of assault. And you say it did not.
Criminal assault, it did not.
All right. So there's also talk that she's going to bring a civil case against perhaps Lewandowski and Trump. Does she have a case there?
Well, she has indicated, or people on her behalf have indicated, she might bring a civil case for assault and battery. Now, that's hardly worth pursuing unless she had some permanent injury.
What about defamation, though?
Well, she's also indicated she wants to bring that very, very, very difficult case to sustain in the hot lights of a political campaign where almost anything goes. You're a liar, you're wrong, you're fat, you're skinny, you're dumb, you're stupid, you don't know what you're talking about. The type of thing that is expected and understood in a political environment.
The situation led to her parting ways from her employer.
Sorry that she parted ways from her employer, and I don't know what that's about. But she is, Michelle Fields is, like all of us who cover these things, a public figure. And a public figure has a very, very high bar to meet in order to bring a defamation action. The theory is that
you've already put yourself out there anyway, so whatever you get,
the theory is a public figure can get in front of
subject to attack,
can get in front of a camera and deny the alleged defamation. So if somebody expresses an opinion about her that she doesn't like, that's not defamation. If someone knowingly utters a falsehood about her or is reckless about whether they're uttering truth or falsehood, that's a basis for defamation. But what are her damages?
I'm
saying this is somebody that knows her and likes her, but this is an awkward position to be in.
And that's the legal side of this equation. Thank you very much, Judge. Let's go over to Jonah Goldberg and talk about the politics about this. There are so many stories in the course of this campaign, and this is just one of them. So, Jonah, do you believe that this has now been put to rest? Do you?
Well, no, because it sounds like Michelle Fields isn't going to rest. And personally, I don't blame her. I think this was handled badly by basically all of the parties. I think that Corey Lewandowski behaved brutishly and thuggishly because that's sort of who he is. I think what Michelle Fields probably should have done, what a lot of other journalists would have done, is said to them, first of all, either give me an apology or give me an exclusive interview. And if the Trump campaign hadn't been so goonish and thuggish, they would have, instead of accusing her of making all of these things up, simply said, hey, look, one, we're sorry. Two, let's figure out how we can make this good. We didn't mean to do this to Breitbart, which has been carrying more water for Donald Trump than Gunga Din for this entire time. In terms of, and Michelle Fields should have, looked for a way out of this. And the problem is that the Trump people were so unprofessional and goonish, they didn't give her the opportunity, or they didn't offer an opportunity to get out of this, and it all exploded into this political mess.
All right. I want to play because, politically, it looks like Donald Trump did the right thing because he came out and made this statement when all this happened. Watch.
The bottom line for me, it would be very easy for me to say, Corey, you're fired. You take a look at that tape, practically nothing. Corey, you're fired. That'd be very easy. I don't feel like I want to destroy. He's a good person. He's a good human being. I don't want to destroy a human being's life. He's got 4 children. He's got a wonderful wife.
I mean, he stood by his guy. He said he looked at the tape, and he didn't see any reason to fire him, which some people were calling for at that time. And, there was a suggestion that maybe Corey should step aside because he was becoming the story, which you never want to do when you're working on a campaign. But they stuck together, and it proves that was vindicated with this decision.
Well, I'm not sure that's right. I mean, I think politically, yeah, Donald Trump once again comes out of one of these messes, and that's the Donald Trump phenomenon, which we've seen time and time again. Morally, he could have just told his, his campaign manager, hey, why don't you apologize and put this behind you? That's what it seems to me a decent professional person would do, and that's what I think Corey Lewandowski should have done a long time ago.
I'm sure he wishes he had at this point. I mean, it certainly would have been a much easier way to handle the whole thing. And
it's also worth pointing out, though, Martha, that Corey Lewandowski has been shoved aside, more because of his incompetence on the delegate stuff than anything to do with Michelle Fields. But Paul Manafort is essentially running this campaign now.
That's right.
And look, I think Michelle Fields has a lot to be angry about. She essentially had to resign from her job because her own editors didn't back her up or believe that she was telling the truth, which is outrageous. How do you believe a reporter's reporting if you're not going to believe what she has to say that happened to her, which is backed up by video and audio and contemporary eyewitnesses?
Great point. Jonah, thank you very much. Good to see you this morning. Thanks to the judge as well.